Good morning, everybody. It's about 8 o'clock on Friday, November 4th. The wind is blowing from the south. The sky is cloudy. It's supposed to rain today. Some people were saying that it could be a storm or a tornado or a hurricane or something like, not a hurricane, but a tornado or something. Conditions are right, I guess, but it looks like we're going to get a bunch of rain at about 1 p.m. and then another bunch of rain at about 9 p.m. So the wind is blowing strong from the south, which is the Gulf. It's nice, warm, humid. You know, if there was a little bit of sunshine, this would be beach weather, at least where I come from in the Pacific Northwest. I fed the chicks this morning a bucket and a half. That's like 37, 38 pounds of feed. And the reason why I did it is I kind of want to see if they eat it all. So I have this bag out, this dog bag. I put the feed on just to kind of see what they do with it. I'm thinking the plastic bags might be good for holding the feed on the ground so they don't lose it to the ground. Anyway, these guys are getting huge. They are getting so big. I should weigh them soon. But here in a couple of weeks, we're going to harvest them. So I got to get them big. We're getting close to the home stretch here. Anyway. Honk, honk, honk. We got the feed for the cattle. I'll talk about that in the cattle video, I think, because it's relevant to the cows, but this is the chicken video. Anyway, somebody on the internet was complaining because eggs were $3 a dozen. And doing a bit of math, that's 25 cents an egg. And so for 4 chickens, if I'm selling eggs at that price, and I'm keeping the entire revenue, 4 laying hens would give me about 4 eggs in a day. 4 eggs would give me $1. About $1 in a day. So these guys, these 20 something, what are they called? Rustic Ramblers. They're worth $5 a day in eggs if I sell the eggs. And you can do the math from there. The feed does calculate as a major expense. If it's the spring or summer and they're out on pasture, they will get some of their nutrients from the pasture, the bugs and the grass and stuff that grows out there. So, and the eggs would have a yellower yolk too, a redder yolk, I guess is the right word for that. I'm not thinking I want to be an egg guy, but you know, when it comes to like raising 100 or so layers and just putting the eggs out for sale in a self-serve farm store, that probably makes economic sense. And if you're selling, you know, 50 eggs a day, you know, that's a couple dollars in your pocket. At least it's enough to feed the chickens. The rest you can give away to your friends, or you can eat yourself or store, you know. But I'm thinking, like in a town like this, a lot of people already have chickens. There's probably not too many people that don't have eggs that want them. Actually, I take that back. There's a lot of people that want to raise chickens but just aren't able to due to physical limitations. A lot of elderly people that they just can't get out there every day and take care of the animals like they did when they were young. I imagine they'd be pretty happy if they could drive by every couple of days and pick up a dozen eggs and know that they were, you know, farmed using practices they themselves would use. I don't know. I'll have to see how the market works, but I know one of the reasons that people like to live in a rural area like this is they're interested in where their food comes from and the quality of their food. So if they could see the farm, and if they were allowed to tour the farm, and if they knew that those eggs were fresh and I'm not feeding like, you know, chemicals to my animals, you know, especially I'm not putting pesticides down, I'm not putting fertilizers down on the ground. Or if I did, I'd tell them exactly what I put down. Like, hey, I put some lime down, or, you know, I put some phosphorus. If I ever do phosphorus, I probably won't. Anyway, I'm sure that they would appreciate that, especially because they know the store where the feed came from. I can tell them, I bought the feed from this store, so they can go ask the clerk, what do you guys put in the feed? You know. But I'm brilliantly surprised. Somebody told me about, I'm going to name them, Martindale Feed Mill, MFM. Somebody told me, they said, you're going to want to buy your feed from MFM. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Food's food, right? And I tried out different companies. I saved MFM for last, knowing that they came highly recommended. So I tried the Atwoods chicken feed. I got a lot of poopy butt. Chickens did okay on Atwoods. I tried some other feeds, and the co-op, I think their feed's slightly more expensive than MFM. MFM is a little bit cheaper than Atwoods, because Atwood sells 40 pounds of bags and MFM sells 50-pound bags. At least when I priced it out. Prices are constantly changing. Blah, 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 blah. But I am completely pleased with MFM's. This is the starter grower crumbles. And the kind of the breakthrough I had is I was reading the back of the Atwoods box bag. I was kind of bored and waiting for my wife to do something. So I was reading the back of the bag, and it explained, it said this is for starting chicks, starting laying hens up until about 6 months. And then it's for, broilers, until harvest, right? And they kind of gave a guide on how much broilers would eat. They're doing a Cornish cross, of course, how much you need for each chicken you want to raise. And they did the same for the layers. Layers, I think you go about 6 to 8 months. You feed them on starter grower. And then once they start laying for a good while, then you can switch them over to layer feed. Layer feed is a lot cheaper than the starter grower. And it has the nutrients they need. At least that's what they tell us. Yeah, so the chick starter grower is what I'm using from MFM. And I am so pleased as punch about this stuff. I can't sing the praises enough. And what's funny, because the clerk, I went to ask about broilers at MFM. I said, "What do you guys feed broilers?" And they kind of looked at me funny, like, "Huh? Who does broilers?" And I said, "I want to do broilers." And one guy said, "I did broilers once, and I fed them chicken scratch." I'm like, "You just fed them chicken scratch?" He's like, "Yeah." And they turned out okay. I think the broilers are really well suited for eating almost anything, but I'm having a lot of success with the starter grower. I tried the Ultra Poultry 20%. The reason why was I did my research. I studied what the people are saying chickens need. It's a highly guarded secret, by the way. It's an industry secret. People aren't just telling everybody. So, but this starter grower stuff, I'm having a lot of good success. I'll let you know what the chickens taste like when I harvest them. I don't know where they get their starter grower feed. I assume that they're just buying commodities, commodity grains, milling them together and, making the crumbles. I assume that's what's going on. And I looked at the label. I know what all the ingredients are. There's no strange chemicals in there. I don't remember exactly, but typically when I look at a feed bag, there's obviously corn and soy. They also put cottonseed meal. If you don't know what cottonseed meal is, the cotton industry over here is growing, and the cottonseed is like a waste product. And you get two things from cottonseeds: you get oil, or you can grind it up. You get oil, and after the oil, you get the meal. The meal is basically what's left over. And so the cottonseed meal is high in oil. It's also very high in fiber, and it's high in protein. And so that makes it a really good feed for animals when you want to bump up the protein, right? Because animals need protein. Also the fat content. So yeah, I'll have to check the label again. You can go ask MFM yourself if you know where they are. There's several in the area. But I am completely happy with their product here. And I'll let you know if I'm going to do it again. I think right now, all things considered, if I were to grow broilers again, I would definitely use MFM starter grower. And I might be more careful with my math. This time I was very lazy with the math. I just feed them. We'll see what happens. Anyway, chickens seem happy. The geese are not happy. They miss their friend. Right? This water solution, just a kind of a quick report on this water solution. It is working better than I expected. I only have to change it once a day. And even then, I can probably let it go for a day and a half, maybe even 2 days. The only issue that I have is they prefer to drink out of one versus the other. They only drink out of this one, and they use that one over there as a backup. And so I'm always filling up this one, and that one's always 1/3 full when I go to switch them out. This one's almost dry. That's the only complaint I have. But I do think this is an economical solution. It's a very economical solution. So find these cheap planter boxes. And when I say cheap, I mean $5, $10. Find them on sale. Get a couple. Use these buckets. So the Atwoods buckets was the best price I could find. I buy them on sale. They go on sale once a year. So just watch Atwoods when it goes on sale. Go buy a bunch. You will use these 5-gallon buckets. And that's what we do. Looks like this chicken's all done. Looks like the layers are not hungry anymore. Anyway, guys, signing off. Have a great day. Bye-bye.